everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is Friday, August 29th, 2025, and this is Flosstube video number 56. I'm back with my weekly update. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my little cat, Merlin. She's clawing something. Hey! Stop that! Come here, Come here. Merlin. Hold on. Come here. This is Merlin. This is my little cat. She likes to claw the furniture, which is what she was doing. And then she ran. Okay, so it has been a very busy week. I've had a great cross-stitching week this week. I had 2 finishes this week, one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday. And I bet you know which ones it was. But which one do you think I finished first? Anyway, so I went to the fabric store and I purchased the Krynic Pearl Blending Filament 032. It's very pretty. I really like the shimmery iridescent colors. And then, so when I went, I took my whole book with me. And as I was looking at the pattern, because, you know, this is how it looks, I noticed that not all of the parts in the wing were shaded in the pink area. So it meant it didn't get the Krynic. But I was like, but that's like the webbing in the wing. And so I stood there, I don't know, 15 minutes debating getting a second color, a different color of either Krynic, or right next to it was the rainbow blending thread. And I was debating colors and I had it narrowed down because the veining is kind of more in shades of brown. And so what I ended up doing was walking over to the DMC, finding one of the floss colors, and then comparing the blending filament. And then I ended up landing on rainbow blending thread, and it says 811. And it's just a brownish rust, autumn leaves kind of color. And I apologize, I'm down here in the basement again. My kids are home from school, so I can't be up where I normally am. And it's so rainy and overcast these last few days that I don't think any of the colors would show up correctly anyway. So that was all that I bought, these 2 blending filaments. And so project number 1 is Teresa Wentzler's Woodland Faerie. And this is 28 count even weave fabric Flair, and it's called, is it fabric Flair? Yeah, fabric Flair, and it's called Flower Champagne. It is lovely shades of pink and rust and a little bit of yellows, and I quite like it. And so here is where I am, and I was working in the wings. And so I don't know if you can see it here, but I did use the Krynic. I did put the colors on the needle and the Krynic, and so it's just 1X with all 3 colors on it. But I don't know if you can see, a couple of these down here have the darker blending filament, and I do quite like down here has the darker blending filament. I do quite like how it's turning out. I don't know if you can see any of that shimmer, but I love how it's turning out. So this one, where are my books? There they are. So this one got 4 hours, 56 minutes, and 14 seconds this past week from 8:25 to, well, I'd say 8:31, but it's really yesterday, 8:28. And it has brought my total time to 31 hours, 57 minutes, and 43 seconds. So this one is coming along quite nicely. And I'm probably not going to work on these today. And I doubt that I'll get to work on them on the weekend. So this is probably it for this month. And then Monday, officially, I'll be switching over to my new projects, but I'll have everything ready on my hoops and everything before then. So come along. Okay, project number 2 is either a Blackwork or a sampler. In this case, it is a Blackwork. However, in September, I'll be working back on my sampler. So this one is finished. And I finished this on Tuesday. This one was the first one. This is my first finish of 2025. So here is the whole thing from far away. But it's one big, huge repeating pattern. And then the back kind of looks just as good as the front. I'm very impressed with how it turned out. I actually posted a picture on Reddit on the Show Me Your Backside sub, and somebody in the comments went, "It's the same picture." So very, very pleased with how this turned out. The only thing that I need to do to this before I wash it and, put it away until it's time to frame it, I need to figure out where I'm going to hide my initials and the year. I have not initialed it and I have not dated it yet. Currently, I'm thinking about like doing initial, initial, and then maybe a small 25. But this is my first official finish of 2025. So, for the stats on this, I started this January 9th, 2024, and I finished it August 26th, 2025. This past week, to finish it up, I put in 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 50 seconds. And then it brought my total project time to 122 hours, 9 minutes, and 2 seconds. Like, what? 122 hours? That's crazy. But my first Blackwork is done. This is my first full Blackwork piece. It is done. And I've already chosen my next Blackwork piece, which I will be starting in October. And so I will show you what I'm going to be working on. So I have the fabric already. I just need to dye it. I need to figure out how I'm going to dye it. The pattern is charted on black, and I didn't want to do straight black. Right now, what I'm thinking is black, like a deep eggplant purple, and like a teal color. So that's what I'm thinking right now, and I'm going to dye this. I will probably do a come dye with me video, but in October, I will be starting, this is by Loose Thread Stitchery, and it's the Orchid Blackwork pattern. So I have 1 month to dye my fabric and get whatever floss I need. This is also 18 count fabric. Both my Blackwork pieces. Pentecost was on 18 count Ada that I hand dyed. So this one will also be on 18 count Ada that I hand dyed. I still have more of this 18 count Ada that I got off the marketplace. So wherever I can, I'm just kind of using it up. Okay, where's the lid? There it is. Okay. So then project number 3 is Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Amy Brown, and it's called Faerie Risqué. I am doing my own blue conversion, and I realize that I have not mentioned that this is my own blue conversion in a while. Every day last year, that's what I said, but I keep forgetting to mention it this year, and probably because I've been working on it for over a year that it just slipped my mind. So anyway, let me move these really quick and then shift you some. Okay. So here is where I am. I have just been working in these hair tendrils and along the skin and coming over. So I am, right here is where I left off. So I'm down in this skin tone area here. Now this is 22 count Hardinger that I hand dyed myself. My friend is also working on this, and she's keeping hers in the original colors. She's still putting her house together, so I haven't seen it. She hasn't seen it in a while. Eventually, I'll get a picture of that so I can show you where she is, because it's interesting to see what the original looks like versus my blue one. This is the only one this month that is in Pattern Keeper, so I actually have a few stats. But with those stats, this week, I was able to put in 4 hours, 47 minutes, and 41 seconds, which brought my total time to 140 hours, 48 minutes, and 49 seconds. And so I got to work on this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I put in 225 stitches, 82, 115, and 205. So again, I was all over the place in the amount of stitches that I was able to put into it. But my stitch count is up to 14,322 out of 74,797. And I am at 19.15%. And then I also wanted to say that I have officially zeroed out one color. Let me pull up Pattern Keeper so I can get that information. Okay, so I have zeroed out number 517. So that's cool. Getting there, just putting in my work, getting her done. All right, and then project number 4 is Plaid Bucilla kit. Donna Dewberry is the designer, and it is called Hummingbird and Floral. This one was a kit that I have since 2002. I did not use the provided Ada. I still have this, so I have a 14 count Ada that I can use on some other project and dye it. I didn't use it because before I opened the kit, one of my other older kits, when I had done it, it left stains from the rubber bands as it had disintegrated. It left stains on my fabric. So I did not know, seeing how much, dead space was in this, I didn't want rubber band stains on my fabric. So I went out, bought a brand new piece of fabric. I bought it from Michael's Craft Store. It was one of those Charles Craft ones. I hand dyed it, and here's my finish. Here is my full finish. I got my chunky hummingbird. I got my flowers all the way down. So I did try to go back into this one and add a second layer of white in the back stitching, but it didn't look as good as the ones that already previously had that I was doing it with too. So I stopped. You couldn't tell any difference. So now this one is not one that is intended to be a fair piece. I was just doing this to blow through my stash. What do I make it? What should I FFO it as? Right now I'm kind of thinking a pillow. I mean, there's enough fabric here that I could make a decent sized pillow, and I'm sure I could either find a hummingbird fabric or a fabric that, matches with the flowers. So, what do you think? I don't just want to stretch it and put it in a picture frame. So, I just don't know what to do. Now, this one, I also haven't signed it, but I'm probably going to sign it right down here in this bottom area. And then for project 4 for this Stashbuster piece, since that one's a finish, I will be starting this Dimensions kit. It's called The Dolphin's Domain. It is 14 count blue Ada. So I'm not going to dye that one. It's already colored. This almost looks like full coverage. I mean, this looks like a typical Dimensions kit with a few blank areas, half cross stitches, full cross stitches. I'm sure there are French knots. Yeah, so I'm doing this one. I originally purchased this off of, I'm pretty sure I got this off of Mercari. And I got this to be a companion piece to one that to my very first cross stitch that I stitched. It's hanging up. It's either in my grandma's house or my mom has it right now. I'm not sure which one of them have it right now, but it was a family of a couple of dolphins, and now here's a family of 4 dolphins. So like I said, I bought this to be a companion piece to something that I stitched 30 some years ago. This one I do intend to stretch and frame as its FFO when I get there, because the other one is stretched and framed, and eventually they'll be hanging together. All right, so that has been my August cross stitches. I will be switching everything because I've been switching month to month. And where did I put that? They're over here. I will be switching back to, oh, I didn't give you the time on my project 4. So when I got to work on it, I did not get to work on it Monday, but I got to work on it Tuesday and Wednesday, and I completed it on Wednesday. I got to put in 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 41 seconds, and it brought my total time to 99 hours, 12 minutes, and 9 seconds. So, yay! All right, now I was going on to the ones that I'm changing to. So for project number 1, I will be switching to Bella Filipina's Daughters of Estuary. Oh, that's a weird glare. And this is 18 count Ada from Volcano Stitching, and it's called Poseidon. And I have the first half, almost the first half done. Or is it halfway done? And I'm not quite sure where I am. But the first mermaid is halfway done. The second mermaid, I'm working in her tail area down here. I'm almost done with the page. I've done a little bit of beading in here just because I needed to see some beads on fabric, but I haven't officially started beading yet. So yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this one, a couple of months, so I can't wait to get back to it. And then project 2 is me going back to the sampler piece, and I'm working on the Dutch Beauty sampler. And for this one, page 1 is done, page 2 is done, and I'm working in page 3. The top border is done. The bottom edge is done, and now I'm trying to make this vine thing. Hopefully it meets up. Okay. And then project 3 is, oh, okay, back to this one. It is, I don't have my paper. It is Tilton Crafts. It is Winter in the Shire. This one is on 25 count pre-gridded fabric, and I'm doing this one by color completion, and I don't think that you'll be able to see any of my stitches here. I'll have to see if I can find that last picture that I took that you can really see. So I'm doing 3865, and I have 10,507 stitches left of 3865. So how many days in September are there? 30. So that was how much? 10,507. Hey, Dresden. Are you going to jump up? Come here. Come on. Hi, this is my other cat. You never get to see him. This is my grumpy old man. Come here. Say hi. No, we're just going to walk all over my stuff. Okay. Okay, so 10,507 stitches divided by 30 is 350. So if I can get 350 stitches a day on this for the month of September, then I will finish out 3865 and I can move on to the next color, which would make me incredibly happy. That is the one thing that I dislike about doing this particular project is the very first color to stitch that had the most stitches was this off-white, and trying to stitch this off-white on essentially white fabric. Can you even see that it's gridded from back there? Probably not. But yeah, trying to stitch white on white, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. So that has been my one and only biggest complaint about this project. But I'm excited to get to it because I have a goal. I'm trying to get all of that done. Wow, you're really just up in everybody's face, huh? Yeah? You're my grumpy old man. All right, so then project 4 is, oh, this one I have to unzip. Oh, yes. Okay. Project 4 is Candemar Designs, artwork by Christian Reese Lassen, and it's called Silent Journey Picture. And just looking at the pattern, I'm nearly done with this quarter. So this one again was one that I started this way back in high school, lost it somewhere, and so I've repurchased it and I'm trying to work on it again. So here is where I am. So this quarter is almost done. I will be very happy to finish out this section and move on to the next. So those will be my 4 projects for upcoming September. And okay, so now on to, I would say now onto the temperature projects, but this last week I was really bad. I really was. The only thing that I worked on was on the weekend, and it was, I told you that I was probably just going to work on the hooded scarf, and that's what I did all weekend is I working on that scarf. And then, so 8:25, it was 69 degrees, which was supposed to be the granny square crochet blanket. 8:26, it was 64 degrees, which was supposed to be beaded flowers. 8:27, it was 73 degrees, which was supposed to be wire wrap. 8:28, it was 72 degrees, which was supposed to be the purple landscape. And today it's supposed to be 73 degrees, and it's supposed to be the wire wrap. So I did not work on the granny square crochet. I did not work on the French beaded flowers. I did not work on wire wrapping, and I did not work on the purple landscape. Instead, because I was so close to my finishes, I put in extra time on my projects. Monday was a weird day. My friend came over, and so that interrupted my stitching a little bit. And then, so I worked on project 1, project 2, and project 3, but not on project 4. And then Tuesday, I finished project 2. And then on Wednesday, I worked on, how did I do it Wednesday? I worked on project 1, then I worked on it a little bit extra, like I worked on it an extra half an hour into what would have been my time to work on project 2 because I was done with project 2. So then after I had put in that extra half hour on project 1, then I went on Etsy and I purchased my pattern, printed it out, and finished doing the stuff for project 2 that I will be starting in October. So then then I worked on project 3, and then I was working on project 4, and I ended up finishing it. And I was like, well, that's great. And then so the next day for Thursday, I just worked on project 1 and project 3. And so like I put in almost 2 hours on project 1 and almost 2 hours on project 3. So it was like I just sort of did not feel the need to work on any of the other things, especially because I was so close to my finish. So what I can show you is what I worked on the hooded scarf. So it's from this book, Hooded Scarves, and this is the first book. There's a second book, but I'm working out of the first book. And specifically, I'm working on this piece because they use a variegated yarn, a camo colored yarn. And so I knew how the variegated was going to look because the yarn that I have to use is variegated. So this is Big Twist yarn. I got this from Joann's during their going out of business sale. I went during spring break and there was hardly anything in the store, and this was one of the few things that was left, and it was a pretty color. It's a nice like fuchsia pink to blurple is the best I could say. It's like a bluish purple. It is called Light Bright. And it is a size 4 medium weight type of yarn. So I have 2 of these. I would just call this a skein, but I feel like these are specifically called cakes. But maybe that's like Michael's version of these. Anyway, so it's this really pretty pinked up bluish purple color. And I have a lot more done than I had last time. So you can see how the color transitions go. And I feel like I get almost a full length of the color before it starts transitioning to the next color. So it is turning out to be a nice size scarf. I like it and I like the colors. I was wrong in what this was when it told me to chain single crochet in like the 41st chain from the hook. So it created this loop. It's a fringe. I'm not sure if I like them. I might end up altering them, maybe adding more to the fringe. But right now there's a fringe and it's on both ends. Ignore my marker colors. So yeah, I'm like halfway through this row. Yeah. So I worked on the hooded scarf and I was able to work on that while I was watching TV. So I did not work on the monk's cloth weaving. So, we did go to the fair. Why didn't I lead with this? We went to the fair. I got to see my piece. I got second place in my category. So that was yay. Second, I placed again. I was worried that I wouldn't place at all. And so with the pieces that are, so you're just gonna go to sleep right here, aren't you? And he's just chilling, laying on top of my stuff, chilling. But when you don't get first, second, third, or a best in, so I think they do the voting and they pick first, second, and third place. And then I think from those categories of the first, second, and third places, I think that's how they choose best in show. I think. I don't know. There's nothing indicated on my end to show me. I just know, and they say that if you don't place, your piece won't be out in the gallery. Excuse me. I need a drink. Okay. All right. So it's kind of like when I go and I enter the building, I don't know if I've placed, I don't know anything. So I just record going through and I'm looking for my piece as I'm walking. And so that's how I find out if I've placed or not. And so I do have a video and I will pop this at the end. It's about 7 or 8 minutes of showing just what's behind the glass in that area. They do have it set up in some areas where they do have quilts out, but like it's behind a roped off area and stuff. There's like the quilts, there's crocheted blankets, stuff like that. I found a monk's cloth blanket somebody did. So like I took a picture of that and I'll show that too. But for the most part, um, I saw some really popular um, designs like the stitch alongs, the SALs. I saw the what is it, the Deadly Aquariums stitch along. So that was submitted and that placed. Um, I'm trying to think what other ones that I can remember seeing. I think I saw a chatelaine submitted this year, which was amazing. And the frame job that they did for it was also amazing. So yeah, let me just stop talking now. End this video with I will see everyone next week and then pop in my fair video. I'm going to have to remove the sound because again, there was music playing over the loudspeakers and there was a lot of people talking and I can actually hear distinct conversations when I listened back in playthrough and people were talking about diapers, people were talking about all kinds of stuff. So I will just remove the volume track on that one. And I hope that you enjoy what everybody submitted to the Colorado State Fair that was held in Pueblo. It's still going on. It doesn't end until, I don't know if it's Sunday or if Monday is the last day of the fair, but it's this weekend is the end. And I have to pick up my piece on Wednesday. So busy week this week. So I will see everyone next week. Enjoy the fair.